Good morning. This session will be the next in our series of frequently asked questions we receive at Caltha. This morning I'm going to be talking about environmental due diligence and specifically discussing the differences between property liabilities and business liabilities and the different approaches to environmental due diligence. The first concept I want to make clear is that a environmental site assessment, or in other words, a phase one environmental site assessment, is a subset of the overall due diligence. What this means is there are elements of environmental due diligence that would not be captured under an ASTM environmental due diligence assessment. So let's take that to the specific environmental liabilities we're discussing. First, in regards to property liabilities, what we are primarily interested in is on-site contamination and adjacent site or nearby site contamination. Those are the two elements that we would be interested in. Turning to business liabilities, certainly those two elements, on-site and adjacent site contamination, would be something that would need to be considered as a risk in acquiring a business. However, there are other liabilities that can be equally as important. Use restrictions of the property, off-site waste disposal, Superfund type liabilities. The company that's being acquired may have disposed of materials off-site, and there may be some liability that goes along with that prior disposal. Does the company have all the required permits it needs to be in the business it's in? Are they in regulatory compliance? Do they meet those permits and other regulations? Do they have the pollution control equipment that's required, and is there any capital cost that's required in order to install the minimum pollution control equipment that's required? Are there any product waste liabilities that need to be considered? Do they have any closed facilities that have liabilities that can still be applicable to the business? Also, do they have any ancillary facilities, warehouses, logistics facilities, etc., that have their own unique liabilities that needs to be considered? And lastly, are there any worker exposure issues that should be explored in looking at the risks that are associated with acquiring a particular business? What I want to do is point out that the environmental site assessment, or a phase one environmental site assessment, does a very good job of assessing the on-site and adjacent site contamination issues. In some respects, it will address some use restrictions. However, the other types of business liabilities that may be important to an acquisition are not covered under a phase one environmental site assessment. Depending upon the type of business that is being acquired, the size and nature of its activities, these liabilities may be at least as important as the on-site or adjacent site contamination issues. Hopefully this has provided some useful information to you in regards to environmental due diligence. If you do have any further questions, please feel to contact Caltha LLP. We'll put you in touch with one of our environmental professionals and answer any questions that you might have. Have a good day.